Hey everybody, it's Marshall Monkey here, and I'm back, and I'm going to be doing my Star Wars Rogue One review. Saw the movie last night, wanted to see it Thursday, but it didn't work out, so I decided why not see it Friday night, and I loved this movie. I love this movie so much, it honestly could be my favorite movie of the year. I know Batman v Superman, I know Captain America Civil War, but Star Wars Rogue One is that good. So, before we get started, I just want to say that there will be spoilers in this video. Closer to the middle of the video, there will be some big spoilers. I'm gonna drop some smaller ones towards the beginning of this video, just because, you know, this is gonna have spoilers in it. But I'm going to talk about more of how I feel about it generally, then go into spoilers. So, there's not going to be too many spoilers. You can stay around to the middle. I'll warn you when spoilers are going to start to drop. But just be careful, because I might slip, because this movie is so amazing we have to talk about it. So, Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Gareth Edwards directed this movie. If you don't remember him, he did Godzilla, the newer reboot Godzilla, not like the old one from like 3 million years ago, obviously. But Gareth Edwards made this movie. I think it was Tony Gilroy who ended up fixing the movie. If you didn't hear, Star Wars Rogue One went through reshoots, and also Tony Gilroy ended up rearranging and making the ending of the movie mostly. I think he went throughout the entire film fixing everything, but he also did a lot of the end of the movie as well. But I definitely think that Gareth Edwards isn't in the wrong here. I think that if Gareth Edwards had to have had his work remade, then there's probably something going on here. I don't know who is responsible for this. I don't know if it's Gareth Edwards or if it's Tony Gilroy or if it's both of them, but both of them bring something to the table here. This movie is very sophisticated. It's very adult-like. It's a war film. It's not Star Wars, but it is Star Wars at the same time. It's basically a piece, an individual piece of the Star Wars universe that has nothing to do with what's going on Episode 7, heading on to Episode 8. It's a prequel movie, we all know that, but it's its own movie. It's really not a Star Wars film, you know what I mean? It's very much its own entity, and it's basically a war movie with the Star Wars name on it, and like the Star Wars elements in it, which is really great. I love that about this movie. I think that makes it more sophisticated. It's very real and raw. It's very dark and serious, but it's still fun and enjoyable. It's the perfect movie of the year, and I think that it's very special. I don't know how this would have been if it was a summer film, because, I mean, that way it would have been crazier. I mean, it was on the beach. The movie ended up on the beach in the end, on the third act sequence, so it kind of screamed summer a little bit, but at the same time, it was still really great for the season, so I don't know. I think that all the characters in this movie are also very excellent, even down to the characters that don't get that much screen time are excellent. I think that the characters were handled really well, also really well casted. I have my favorites, and we'll talk about that later on in the review. But I think that the characters did really well. The one thing I don't like about the characters, though, is that Jen is obviously a huge character, or at least they wanted her to be, because in the trailers, she says a lot of lines in the trailers, and there's a lot of scenes in the trailers that aren't actually in the movie, probably because of Tony Gilroy fixing the movie. But the characters, they have, when you meet every character, they reference their backstory, and that's it. There's no more backstory, there's no scenes about it, there's no explainers, it's just one reference about their backstory, and that's it. So I feel like that was something that I didn't like. I would have liked to see more of the characters' backstory, but we didn't get more of the characters' backstories, so, Also, the movie's very nostalgic. Now, when The Force Awakens came out, everyone said, oh, it's all the nostalgia. That's like Fuller House level nostalgia. This nostalgia gives you a feel of, elements that were in the old movies. It really takes you back. It flashbacks you. It doesn't slap you in the face with the nostalgia like Fuller House or Star Wars The Force Awakens. It eases it in there, and it really makes you feel like you're back watching the old Star Wars films. If you were like, of age to see the Star Wars films back in the day. Not meaning like of age like, in terms of rating, but of age like if you were alive during that time to see those movies. Because I'm not. I'm not. So, but I know the Star Wars movies. So yeah. So overall, I think the experience, the movie, the CGI is incredible. The cinematography is just off the charts. Like, it's so great. The movie's very dark. It's very depressing. but it's still really fun and enjoyable. So overall, the elements of the movie in terms of behind the camera with Gareth Edwards, Tony Gilroy, all the people that worked on the movie, and also in front of the camera, like the actors, everyone did a good job here. Everyone did great. But we have to go into my favorite characters, and then we also have to go into some spoilers. So my favorite characters were obviously Donnie Yen. Hello? Donnie Yen did fantastic in this film. I loved his character so much. I thought it was really fantastic. And I think that this character here really is just probably going to be like the reference character. Like, oh yeah, guys, remember Donnie Yen in that movie? Like when he smashed all those stormtroopers with a stick? It was so great to see him in this film. I loved him in this film. And it was really sad of what happened to him, but also the other characters. And we're going to talk about that. So we're going to get into some spoilers. So, ease out of the video if you don't want to watch some spoilers, but go watch the film and come back. Please watch this movie. It's that great. So spoilers. So obviously we got a lot of Jen Arso's backstory with her family. I thought that their backstory was really great. I enjoyed her backstory, like the scene, the opening part of the film. That was really great. And I liked seeing, her family be connected to the Death Star. I thought that was really interesting. I liked when they had to get the plans for the Death Star. I like when Diego Luna, his character, tried to kill her father. So I thought that all of that was really great, having her connected to the Death Star, and that's what brings up the rebellion. That's what gets the Death Star plan. So I thought it was a really great story point as well. I think using Jen Arso, she's not even the main character of the film. She's just like thrown in here. So I think that, and a lot of the trailers, again, make it seem like she is the main character. She is not the main character. It's a very much team movie, but they don't really highlight that in the trailers. Back when The Force Awakens dropped their trailers, it was a lot of Finn and John Boyega, but then it turned out, being a lot of Rey and Daisy Ridley. So, I don't know. I think that, the trailers for the Star Wars films aren't doing so great right now, but the movies are doing fantastic. So, they got to fix the trailers, but other than that, it was great. But again, liked using her character, her backstory, as a reference point. It was fantastic to see them do that because it made sense. It wasn't something that, was put together. It flowed really well. And then it goes to the action, because the action of the movie is so spectacular. I love the action to this movie. All the fight scenes are hardcore. That's why it's called Star Wars, people. It's a war film, and it makes total sense. I don't know where you think that we have to have all this happy-go-lucky, like, kiddie stuff from Force Awakens, even though Force Awakens was amazing. We don't have to have it like that all the time. There can be a Star Wars movie that is dark. There can be a Look, there's so much death in this movie because, again, this is spoilers. By the end of the movie, literally, everyone dies. That is the whole point of this movie. They should just rename it Everyone Dies Wars, because that's what this movie is. Everyone Dies Wars Rogue One, because that's what this is. Everyone dies in the movie. At the end, Jen, Donnie Yen, Diego Luna, like all the characters, everybody in this movie, Bodhi, all the characters die, which is so sad, but that's what makes the movie so good, is because it has so many twists. We would have never seen something like that in Star Wars. I mean, obviously there's a lot of death in Star Wars of major characters, but not like this. I mean, they killed everybody. Nobody survived. None of the main characters of this movie survived at all. So it's different, and I like that, because that's the whole point. Because then, how in episode 4, they didn't explain, Jen Arso. She didn't ever come back, so they had to have killed her off, because it wouldn't have made sense if they never referenced her or included her in episode 4. So that makes sense. And I thought about that. I was like, wait a minute, wouldn't they have to kill her to make sure that she wasn't in episode 4, because she would have stayed in the rebellion? I don't know. But I think that it was really great to have everyone die, because it just goes to show you no one's safe in the Star Wars universe. I guess they kind of proved that when Han Solo died, but that was kind of like a Han Solo thing. He was a nostalgic character, why not kill him for shock value? But now with this movie, they proved anyone can die in the Star Wars universe. We kind of known that for a while now, but this really just this movie throws that in your face. So, there you go. Overall, Star Wars Rogue One, it's great. In general, it's a great war film with Star Wars elements. It's a great piece of the individual, it's a great individual piece of the Star Wars puzzle. The characters are dealt with really nicely here. The action's fantastic, and I wouldn't have it any other way with this movie. I definitely give this movie a 9 out of 10 in terms of a score, because the action was great. The 30-minute third act action sequence right here with the beach and then the X-Wings in space and all that was just, it was beautiful. And I was on the edge of my seat. I felt like I was on a ride, a Star Wars like theme ride, and it was that excellent. So what did you guys think of Star Wars Rogue One? Did you guys like it? Did you hate it? Tell me in the comments down below. Links up there to my other movie reviews, links down there to my Twitter, Instagram, Vine, vlog channel, and gaming channel. I will be posting some other videos. I'm going to start posting The Flash, Season 3, Episode 9 review, and then also some Arrow, Legends, and things like that. I'll probably post another Star Wars Rogue One video. Maybe, I don't know. Might not, but who knows at this point. But what do you guys think of the movie? Don't forget to comment and tell me about it. And I will see you guys next time for some more reviews. Bye.